in Inglewood at Chuco's Justice Center. We're here in observance of the National Day of Empathy, which is an event that's being hosted nationwide to help increase empathy on a massive scale for individuals who have been directly impacted by mass incarceration, criminalization, drug abuse, and violence. The goal of tonight is to really humanize the experience of the incarcerated person and through that create the empathy. And art is a really good way to do that.
This painting here is titled Thinking Out Loud. I was a long way away from home, serving 2 life sentences for a crime I didn't commit. I painted my desire to be home inside of my head because this is what I thought about all the time. In the course of doing that wrongful incarceration, my mother was coming to see me and died on the way. And so I painted her in the coffin of the picture that they sent me inside of my head. That kind of had me infuriated. And then when you look into the picture behind in the background, you see police walking with dogs, and that's the type of living circumstance that I was in. You know, you get searched by dogs crawling all over your bed. And so all the things that kind of aggravated me about being incarcerated at that Pacific institution, I painted all out in that painting called Thinking Out Loud.
And you were able to paint this while you were incarcerated?
Yes.
They give you the resources, the tools, and all of that to do this type of art in there?
They allow you through the hobby shop program to buy material. I had became at each institution I was at the art instructor, so I taught art and helped other people to learn how to paint and to buy the right materials to get the job done.
We go inside of 16 different institutions here in California, and we record the men and women inside reading books to their children. And we send those recordings and the books to their children so that they can hear their grandfathers, their fathers, their uncles, their brothers, their mothers, their aunts, their grandmothers, reading to them to keep that bond together during incarceration.
These are some of the solutions that I've come up with. Number 1, better training for the guards and their supervisors. Number 2, better supervisors who are trained by formerly incarcerated people who want to make a change. I want to create a policy that will at least create a stricter enforcement of what the guards can't do to these men and women. In the coming months, I plan on working closely with my mother and other community members and activists to establish greater oversight of the BOP and its employees, so that at least while people are still incarcerated, they can be treated with dignity and respect and know that they are not forgotten and there are people who love them and who are fighting for them. I invite all of you to join me in doing this work. And if the BOP thinks that they can treat my dad like this and get away with them, well, then they got another thing coming. Thank you.
We are told this is the land of the free. But in America today, freedom has a price, and it's called bail. Right now, as we speak, 500,000 people are sitting in jail without having been convicted of anything because they cannot pay bail. Because of this, they are more likely to plead guilty, lose their jobs, their homes, their immigration status, and even their children. Our bail project teams are working hard across the nation to secure freedom for as many people as possible. We want to reunite families, restore the presumption of innocence, and ensure people have a fighting chance in court. But there's a big battle going on in the court of public opinion. While most people agree we need to reform the cash bail system, many are all too willing to accept harmful alternatives like electronic monitoring. We must resist this if we want real bail reform that ensures true freedom and dignity for our people. While we're changing laws and we're building reform out here, there's people sitting in cages that didn't have that opportunity. 10, 20, 30 years ago, they didn't have armies of people fighting for them. So we must commit and remain true to those that are behind those walls and not cast anybody out as the worst of the worst. Because there's a whole group of us right now here that spent time in solitary confinement, that were program failures, that were the worst of the worst, that society, that the system said, you'll never make it anywhere except for sitting in prison. And we're right here and we're free today and we ain't gonna stop, my people. Woo! Thank you.
I'm here to offer an official declaration from the city of Los Angeles for the Day of Empathy. Los Angeles is a city of second chances, a place where people should never be defined by their past or circumstances, a place where everyone deserves the opportunity to provide for themselves and their loved ones, rebuild their lives, and regain their dignity and integrity through hard work. With empathy, in our policies and in our hearts, we can keep our communities safe, our families whole, and our economy strong. We welcome all organizations, activists, advocates, and local officials to join this effort and to take part in the Los Angeles Day of Empathy as we seek to amplify the voices of those most directly affected by the criminal justice system, poverty, and violence.
As I was putting these boards together last night, I broke down in tears. And this overwhelming anguish came over me, and I could not stop sobbing. I don't know a lot of these people who submitted their art, but I know their pain. And that's what overcame me last night. All of these stories just wrenched at my gut, and all I could think about was everything that I felt while I was sitting inside of a cell, and that pain of not knowing when I was gonna get to see my children again, and the pain of not knowing if they were safe, not being able to tell you what they smelled like or what their favorite foods were. And just to know that other people were experiencing that same pain in that moment, it was just too much for me. And in that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude that I was now on the other side of that pain, right? But still very much carry it, and it is still very much a part of everything I do. And it's not a matter of get over it, and it's not a matter of move on. And I know that for some of us, it's not easy to share our stories, because every time we get up and tell people about what we've been through and share our stories, we are reliving that trauma, and we are reliving that experience. And that just gets to be too much sometimes. But these stories are here for a reason, because we are not our mistakes. We are humans, and we matter. Our experiences matter. Our lives matter, our stories matter.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description, and thanks for watching StreetTV.net.